Not as if you haven't been warned time and time again, but spending the better part of your precious life staring at these little screens, from pads to phones and everything in between, will cost you many things other than just ridiculous data charges. It will cost you your sleep. Our guest is professor at the UConn Health Center and the man who literally blew the light whistle on this latest alarm. Welcome Richard Stevens into MidPoint. Richard, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Ed. It's good to be here.
This is interesting, but I got to tell you, it's something that if you followed medicine over the years, you would have to imagine that this was coming. All of these pads, all of these phones, all of these screens, if you spend time looking at them, it will affect your eyes, your health, your sleep. I mean, it just seems common sense.
Well, it's a wonderful technology, and I'm not going to do without it, but we can do it better. We can have these back screens, a different kind of light that will be better, I think, for our health.
What did your study find as far as the danger points here?
Well, danger is a strong word. What we know for sure is this altered lighting. It's not only the iPads and phones, but the electric lights we use in our homes and work. They affect our physiology, and we know that. We don't know yet the long-term consequences of that.
The thing that caught me, though, and I use the word danger because I see where they're talking about increased nighttime light exposure tracks with increased rates of breast cancer, obesity, and depression. How does that all work in?
Yeah, I proposed the breast cancer connection a long time ago in 1987, and it wasn't taken very seriously for a long time because how could electric light hurt people? But in the intervening years, we've learned about circadian rhythms. This is our sleep-wake cycle, our body temperature, and that is very well coordinated to the sun coming up and going down. And now with electric light, we interrupt that system. I call it circadian disruption. But the essence of it is that we really need bright blue light in the morning. That's good. And we really need dim, not blue, farther to the red spectrum in the evening, and we're not getting that.
Well, that's what we're talking about, not necessarily the fact that there is a bright screen in front of you, but aren't we talking about the wavelengths themselves, just the actual colors and then the frequency, the waves that come out of all that?
Well, Ed, that's the key. That's the issue, and we can change that. That bright blue screen, it's very pretty, but those are the wavelengths that are best able to suppress melatonin and to disrupt our circadian system. And we have the technologies, and we're starting to use them. We're starting to change the colors and the intensity of these screens.
Are there any differences here between, I guess, LED, LCD screens, cathode ray tubes, fluorescent bulbs? I mean, is there any one that's worse than the other, perhaps?
Well, this is an interesting area because it's not a matter of light is not bad. It depends on the timing, and photons are what matter. The incandescent, it's a little bit ironic, but the incandescent bulb, though energy inefficient, in the evening, I think it's a little bit better because it's dimmer and the wavelengths are longer. That's closer to the red. The compact fluorescent are very bright and very blue, and that's great in the morning. But I don't think it's so hot in the evening.
So what we're talking about here is, it seems as if these are reversible issues, if you will. We just have to then pay a little more attention to the time of day, the light around us, and the amount of light that's being forced into our eyes and our brains at any given time.
Exactly, I agree completely. And for young people, I don't do this at this point, but for young people who are using their phones all the time and the iPads and what have you, in the evening, if you hold them up real close to your face, that is giving maximum suppression of melatonin. And you can just do this simply, make it a little farther from your eyes, actually, and that'll reduce the amount of circadian disruption quite a lot. And then as you just mentioned, we can actually, with the technology, change the wavelength of that backlit screen.
Here I go right back to my sainted granny who told me, don't sit so close to the television set, you'll ruin your eyes.
There's so much to folk wisdom, so much that used to be true became untrue because we thought we were smart, and it's true again.
She had it nailed. Fascinating study from the UConn Health Center. Professor Richard Stevens, thanks so much for joining us. I promise I'll hold my phone a little bit farther back tonight as well.
Thanks, Ed, very much.
Professor, thank you so much. Second hour here on MidPoint, the dangerous game being played by the President and the Prime Minister, and meet a group that believes, honestly, they can fix American politics. We'll be back. I've got some things to do, so we'll continue in a few moments. Thank you.